These are the Murkwater Catacombs in Limgrave. Elden Ring has been given many more comparisons to the Dark Souls series than it has to its Sony-owned counterpart, but after doing some poking around in some of the catacombs, I think I'm starting to see a lot of smaller, overlooked features that FromSoft has taken from Bloodborne as well. In the lands between, you come across many hidden catacombs and dungeons off the beaten path that you can raid for skills and weapons and all sorts of unique secrets that's going to help you along your journey. I've always been a Bloodborne fan, a bit more so than I have the Souls franchise, and despite all of the comparisons being drawn to Souls and seeing others referring to it as the fourth iteration of the series, I'm kinda thankful that FromSoft has borrowed some elements from other IPs as well and hasn't left Bloodborne completely in the dust. The catacombs play very similarly to Bloodborne's chalice dungeons, but seems to remove a lot of the problems Bloodborne hunters had with them. And as a result, the catacombs feel a bit like a more refined and exciting iteration of Bloodborne's dungeon raiding. Recycled boss fights and empty dungeons with little returns were two of the major criticisms against chalice dungeons. And from what I've seen so far, I haven't really gotten the same feeling from the catacombs in Elden Ring. Whenever you come across one, it genuinely feels like you found something valuable. And if there isn't something like a weapon skill or a spell that can help you in combat, there's usually something else that's just as valuable. Catacombs usually follow the same design layout as your average Bloodborne chalice dungeon, where you can find an array of traps and snares, numerous diverging paths that sometimes make you feel like you're trying to find your way out of a maze. You see these haunting little statues at every corner, and plenty of old architecture that all bears a pretty accurate resemblance to what a blood-addled hunter would have seen in a chalice dungeon. There's usually a lever or a switch hidden somewhere in the catacombs that must be activated to progress, and usually this will open the final room that houses a boss and a unique treasure inside it. The boss of the Murkwater Catacombs is the Grave Warden, and he doesn't seem to have a distinct second phase and has relatively low HP, but that doesn't mean he can't hit like a truck, so you still might find a bit of a challenge with this guy. Vanquishing him grants you the Stormblade Ash of War, which, if you started with the Warrior class, you should already be familiar with, as this is the armament bound to your scimitar at the start of the game. After clearing the area, a small circle of light will spawn somewhere in the room that will take you back to the entrance of the catacombs, where you can then continue your adventure. Optional areas with hidden treasures won't always be a tomb or a dungeon. Sometimes you'll find something at the very end of a mossy cave or even a castle fortress. The resistance you meet in some of these optional areas won't always be castle guards or knights, and the creatures that lurk in the tombs and caves are sometimes even extremely grotesque. It's shown me that Elden Ring is more than dragons and wizards and fortresses. There is some straight-up nightmare fuel hidden in the nooks and crannies of this game, and I feel like FromSoft is exercising a bit of a desire to play around with elements of both the Souls and Bloodborne universes. As much as I'm looking forward to playing what's been labeled by some fans as Dark Souls 4, I wouldn't mind a little Bloodborne salted on top of that as well. And there's quite a bit of evidence here to suggest that's damn well what we're getting. There weren't that many catacombs available to explore in the closed network test, or at least not many that I found, but they all seem to follow the same design and layout as Bloodborne's chalice dungeons, so to all the Bloodborne fans out there, here's to hoping this points to something bigger, right? Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.